Hi everyone, welcome back to What's the Story? I'm your host, Jason Coughlin. Today we have a special episode. We have another DCU alumni. I'm so excited to bring her out. It is Miss Paige Hakowski. Welcome, Paige.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the podcast.
I'm so excited to be here, Jason.
I'm so excited to have you on. So before we get into our topics for the day, I just want to know why you chose to do the Dublin City University program.
Well, I knew I wanted to study abroad, and I think the location was negotiable, but because Klein had the spring semester in Dublin, when I was looking through the list, I knew I wanted to go away for a long time, not just a week. The whole semester was definitely what I wanted to do. It fit in my schedule, and it fit the credits I had. I never would have guessed that Dublin would be my study abroad location.
I feel like a lot of people, we think, at least at Temple, we're going to do Rome or London or even Japan.
Yeah.
And Dublin, it's more of an underrated program, I would say. Whenever I mentioned that I was going to Dublin to other people, no one really knew the program at all, but it was magical time. But today, we're going to have some fun topics, so please pick the cards, and those will have our topics on them for today.
Okay. Hostels.
Hostel, okay, exciting. And then our second topic?
Second topic, education.
Education. So education, I really liked getting to experience a different education system, especially in Ireland. It is very different. You would think that it wouldn't be, but also, again, I guess you think it would be at the same time.
I think because it's English speaking, we thought it would be similar.
So a lot of, at least the classes that I took, and we took very similar classes.
Yeah.
I think we had at least 2 classes that overlapped, or maybe 3. But the classes we took, they were very lecture-based. Mm-hmm. We had 1 seminar class, but the rest, you're really in a big lecture hall, and you're not really talking as much one-on-one with the professor. But what I really liked about the professors there was how accommodating they were. So they were asking for Harvard citations and specific formatting, and even spelling was a little bit important. And I went to a professor, I think it was for our crime, policing, and the media class.
Yeah.
And I point blank was like, hey, I don't know how to do Harvard citations, and my spelling is going to be different because I'm from the U.S. And he could not have been more accommodating and welcome. He knew right away that tons of people study abroad. Because there's people that study abroad from non-English speaking countries that have to then figure out how to do, because they more so know American English, I would assume. Mm-hmm. But that was definitely something that was really nice.
I had 2 seminar courses, and I don't know if you
because you and Annie were in the one together.
Cultural studies.
Yeah, me and Allie weren't in that.
My cultural studies seminar, that was the international.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which kind of fun, because then we did our project, and I remember one girl was from Sweden, one girl was from France. It's Manny and I,
hey,
which was kind of fun, and we all, because our project was on which TikTok.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
You didn't hear about this?
No, I didn't know this.
That was so funny. It was subcultures. So TikTok especially is filled with subcultures. Because you have Witch Talk, and then you have Alabama Rush TikTok. You had to pick one and then do research on it.
Wait, that sounds like a fun project.
It was really fun, actually.
That sounds I wish I got to do that project.
Yeah. No, that was really fun. I'm taking an intercultural communication class here, and one of the questions, what's something from another culture that you didn't know about and it created a conflict? And it was the first time I got an Irish grade back thinking I failed.
And it's still a B+.
It was a 68%.
That's a B+, which is crazy.
An A.
Or an A- maybe.
Yeah, I was
that's
an A.
That's an A-.
I thought that was so funny.
It is funny.
Because I'm sitting there going, oh my god.
I'm just so not, Is that class for the intercultural communication concentration? Yes. Wait, yay, I'm so glad. Because I couldn't fit enough classes into my schedule to be able to do that.
Well, I thought about this before I went abroad.
That's smart.
There was a couple minors I was thinking about, but some of them were tricky with MSP. Yeah. I liked international comm. Plus, it was nice to get all those credits from just studying abroad. But all my international comm courses, I love. The electives are really fun and whatever else. Me wanting to go into media, it would be so negligent to say, I don't need to know anything about international comm, even though it's a global industry.
Because we're really moving into a more globalized society where there's a lot more.
You have to know these things. You need to be able to interact outside of the U.S.
Well, and specifically, I've noticed with the job market, it's a lot easier to find jobs that in different cities, and you don't even have to live there now. It can just be a remote job. I've seen a couple jobs in San Diego, and you do not have to live here. You can be remote. And so that's similar to being abroad. You could have a job in London, but you don't necessarily need to be living there. I mean, I prefer to live there. Well, now I want to segue into our next topic, which is hostels.
Please.
So I feel like hostels get such a bad reputation.
Yeah.
And there definitely are hostels
true.
that warrant that reputation, but I also think there are a ton of hostels that are not as bad as they seem. Yeah. They really can be like a hotel sometimes.
Yeah, and especially if you're using the Hostel World.
Hostel World, yeah.
Yeah, we liked Hostel World.
I thought that was a wonderful website.
Yeah.
I always was putting my reviews.
You read the reviews.
Yeah, you gotta read the reviews.
Because it's not unlike booking a hotel. It's just like... Yeah.
I feel like you get more honesty out of these because people... Because first of all, you're not paying as much for these accommodations. And second of all, if someone had a bad experience or a really good experience, they're going to want to share it. Yeah. That's just what happens.
I only stayed in 2 hostels. One in Edinburgh and one in Galway. And Edinburgh, I mean, dream come true.
That was such a dream.
That was such a good time.
Cute. That was so cute.
Like, we were together for that one. But that was such a good time. Plus, the friendships I made. You met some of them. Because we went to the pub together. Yeah. Everyone else went out.
I still follow them.
I still follow them, too.
I see their Instagram posts.
Yeah. Did you see Sierra? She got engaged.
Yes.
I know. And she was talking about, like, while we were in the hostel, about her and her Finnish boyfriend, how she's going to be engaged soon.
That's just so funny how all of that works out.
Like, me and Sierra played Scrabble.
I remember that. What I like about hostels is you can really make these close relationships very quickly. And the thing about these hostel relationships, sometimes you have to remember, is that these are just going to be kind of fleeting. These are going to be people you're only going to probably hang out with while you're there. But it's also a great way to have these connections for later, for whatever purposes. When I was in Belfast, I met this girl named Jenny, and we went out to dinner together. We went out at night together. She was just fantastic. And then she went to Edinburgh after. She was actually the one that recommended Castle Rock. So you make these relationships, and they can actually really help you later and help you with your travel. She gave us so many recommendations for Edinburgh, which was really nice. And that's what I've loved about staying in hostels. If you want to save some money, go stay in a hostel because you can meet some great people.
Yeah, and even what Annie did when she did her tour of like the UK, she was staying in single rooms in hostels, which is still so much less than a hotel.
Exactly.
You don't have the luxuries of a hotel, but why would you want that? You're there for 2 days.
It doesn't matter to me. I don't care as much about having my own bathroom or whatever. And in some hostels I did. In Budapest and Vienna, we had our own bathroom in our room, which was really nice. I didn't mind the shared bathroom in Edinburgh. I really didn't. It was definitely at times it get a little crowded, but you kind of feel like you're at summer camp almost.
The summer camp vibe. I remember having conversations with people and like brushing your teeth.
Where
are you from? Oh, Manchester.
Yeah,
like, it's so funny.
Remember there was that whole, I think it was a dance team or
no, that's the dance team from Manchester.
Yeah, they were so sweet.
But that's what you do.
Well, and there's hostels in the U.S. too. Yeah. I feel like people forget that because I know for our children's media program, they stay in a hostel.
Oh, really? It's actually really fun.
Yeah, but it's like a big room for everyone to stay in together, which is so fun. You're staying only with Temple people.
Yeah, and actually, some of my Irish friends were visiting because they were working in upstate New York and came down to Philly for the weekend. Fun. Yeah, and they did a couple places around the East Coast. But they stayed in a hostel in Old City. But
overall, with study abroad and studying away, you can find ways to save money. It's really not as expensive as people sometimes make it out to be. Yes, it is money.
Yeah.
But the
is it
lessons...
much more than you're going to spend here?
Exactly. I feel like flights around here are so expensive.
Flights around here are so expensive.
I'm going to Mexico for spring break, and yes, that is international travel, but it's still a $500 or $550 round trip flight.
But that was like talking about like,
which is crazy.
How much did I spend for a round trip for Rome? $80.
Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up? This has been a really fun conversation.
I was gonna say this. So, how much I spent on personal expenses. I didn't include, I think I did include grocery bills. Like grocery bills, takeout, plane tickets, hostel stays, and like I don't shop too much. You shop a lot more than me. I really don't shop that much for like a couple souvenirs.
No one should take money advice from me. I will say that. I will say that right now. Don't take money advice from me.
But like what I spent, I made up for it in the scholarships I got from Klein Go.
Yes.
And from Temple Update.
Yes.
Because I did
You can get so many great scholarships.
Like that covered my personal expenses.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It did not cover mine, but it significantly helped.
If you're me, it will cover your expenses.
Significantly helped. And that's why I will always say apply for scholarships. Because one of the scholarships I got, it was because no one else applied to it. And that's so sad. Why is no one applying?
And I enjoyed it because I did the multimedia ambassador scholarship, which I really enjoyed.
That's a fun one.
I felt like a little celebrity.
That's such a fun one.
I'm like going like, hey, it's Paige vlogging from Dublin. So,
yes.
Yeah, that's my advice. Get the scholarship.
Yeah, get your scholarships, get out there. I think this has been a very fun conversation. I'm
Too
sad.
fun.
I'm sad to wrap up.
I
We
know.
could talk for hours.
We could talk for hours.
We could talk for so long. Me and Allie said the exact same thing. We're like, could just keep talking, talking. But from me and Paige, this has been What's the Story? Thank you so much, Paige.
Thank you, Jason.
And we will see you later. Bye.